YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are doing well. I wanted to share this type of video with you guys just so we could clear up some confusion or some questions that someone may have that they're just not comfortable with asking. It literally popped in my head when I was doing a live Q&A. So I said, let me just put this out here for anyone else who's interested in this information. That information is that there are two types of calls that you will get when you're interested in joining an organization. This is after you've completed the interview process of intake. You will get a phone call from the organization. Not necessarily from the organization, but from the chapter. And I want you guys to understand the difference between these two calls. So if you're interested in learning more, then keep watching this video. So when talking about the two calls, there's one that is sanctioned and there's one that's not sanctioned. And I'm going to be candid with you guys because I want you guys to understand what you can expect and what you should be aware of and what you should be prepared for. So if you want to learn specific information about how to get the call in general, that's something that you're going to have to enroll into my intake prep course in order to get. But we're going to talk about the two kinds of calls that you should be aware of and the one that you should be wanting versus the one that you should be leery of. So with that being said, let's talk about the good call. So after you've done an interview, I'm pretty sure emotions are high, anxiety is high, you're just waiting on some type of response from the chapter that you can move forward to the next step. Let me first say that you are not officially a member until you've been inducted into the organization. So throughout this whole process, from start to finish of the intake process, you go from an aspirant to a candidate to eventually a member if you're lucky. So with the aspirant section of being part of an organization, that's when you're sharing interests, when you're showing that you want to join the organization, you're asking questions, you want to get to the informal and formal process. This is the stage that you're at before you get to the candidate. To become a candidate, you are typically invited to formal and you are invited to interviews, most likely. Stages of candidacy can depend on the organization or really the chapter, but you go from aspirant to candidate to newly inducted member, inductee, whatever you want to call it. So to go from being an aspirant to a candidate, mainly you're waiting on that phone call from the organization, or I should say chapter. So you're going to get the phone call from the chapter. Some organizations will provide you with a letter and a phone call. Other organizations will just provide you with a letter, or in this case, you get an emailed letter stating that you can move forward. It depends for every organization. But the phone call, in my opinion, is something specifically chapter related. Some chapters will do that courteous thing to give you a phone call to let you know, hey, you're going to move forward into the next stage of your process, or hey, did you check your email? Make sure you do that, something of that nature. That's the call that you want. You want the call from the chapter stating, hey, we've received your application and after much review, we decided that we want you to continue on as a candidate for such and such organization. That's the call that you want. That's the call that you want to get from the organization. That's the call that you want to get from the chapter stating that you can move on, and we look forward to seeing how you get through this process of ours. Is it sanctioned by the organization? Not necessarily, but it is a professional way for them to let you know, hey, you're moving on to the next stage. The other call that I want you guys to be aware of is the call that Greek organizations don't really specify on. And I want you to be aware of what you should be looking for in these two particular calls and whether or not you should be willing to do it or not willing to do it. So with the second call, it's usually a lot more, well, they're both professional, but this one is usually along the lines of, is this so-and-so? I want to know how dedicated you are to joining this organization. It usually starts off something weird like that, something that's asking something of you. And I want you to be aware of this type of tone or this type of verbiage, because it could signify that what they're about to ask you to do next or what comes next after this phone call may not be sanctioned by the organization. I want you to be aware of what you should and shouldn't be doing, because I don't want anyone to get in trouble and I don't want anyone to have a bad experience with the organization that they want to join. So any organization that's asking something of you, asking you how dedicated you are, if you're 1,935,000% sure that this is the organization that you want to join, this is what you want to do, I just want you to be leery of that, because that usually signifies that they're going to ask something later of you that's not sanctioned by the organization, that you should not be doing. I've talked about this before in previous videos about hazing and about being paper versus mate. None of that matters in regards to your life or in regards to your level of comfort. Any organization that affects, or any chapter that's asking you to do something that involves servitude, changes that would affect your mental health, physical health, or anything of that nature, physical, mental, emotional, any of those things that will change you throughout your process, is most likely not sanctioned by the organization. They have to disclose, for the most part, a schedule of events to what you have to be doing, when you have to be doing it, what you're supposed to wear, and all those things are sanctioned in guidelines created by the organization. If they're asking you for anything that's outside of the guidelines that were provided previously, or if the chapter members, if you're an undergrad, are asking you to do something that's outside of the guidelines of what the advisor said, I want you guys to be aware of that, and I want you to be leery of that. I can't tell you guys what you can and can't be doing. I'm just providing the facts. Is it legal? No. If it's not in the organization's handbook that they gave to you, if it wasn't in the formal meeting that you guys attended where they had to lay everything out that they were supposed to lay out, it's probably not sanctioned and it's probably not legal. I want you guys to be aware of what is required in joining a Greek-legged organization, but I want it to be safe, and I want you guys to be well informed. So make informed decisions. Be smart about the decisions that you're going to make, and be smart about anything regarding joining any organization, not just D9, but just anything in life. Just be smart about the decisions that you make, because there are consequences and there are rewards. So you just got to weigh the difference between the two. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you have any questions. If you don't know a specific answer to a question, or if you have a question and you're not comfortable putting it in the comments, you can always direct message me on my Instagram, KelsTells. And you can always email me. Please, 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 if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It just helps me out that I'm able to help people who are actually subscribed to my channel, who support me as much as I support them. So I would appreciate your support by subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.